always recognised the hurt and complications he's caused for the victims. So that was one of the major factors. And the second factor was, the publicity and the intensity around the situation is basically untenable for a lot of people involved. And so he approached Wellington Rugby with our support this afternoon and asked to withdraw and effectively terminate his contract, and they agreed. And I think it's one of those unique situations I haven't encountered in 16 years of being involved in the sport, where an 18-year-old player who was 17 years old and at school at the time of committing this assault has just had to recognise that in order to move forward, he's going to have to take a couple of steps back and to the side and work very, very hard. Why
was that left up to him? Where's the rugby union in all of this? Where are they recognising this and saying, you need to cut this now to avoid what has happened today?
Yeah, well, I think, and I can't speak for Wellington, obviously, in this particular instance, but if you look at it, he went through the court process, and whether we like it or not, Society in New Zealand provides a section 106, I think it is, of the Sentencing Acts, where people can be discharged without conviction if they make a case to the judge. And the judge is put in place to assess everything. He's the one person that knows everything from the victim's perspectives. He knows everything from, the potential offenders' perspectives. He's talked to the police. He has full transparency. In some instances, it results in a conviction. Sometimes they get discharged. And if they get discharged, the basis is to say that there's potential in this young person or this person. And we don't want to, convict him because we don't want to constrain his opportunities in life. We believe he can turn his life around. And that's the message Wellington Rugby would have picked up on, which is this is a young kid with potential who the courts are saying deserves an opportunity. And he wasn't a professional rugby player. He had the opportunity to potentially become a professional rugby career.
Why should he get that second chance when the very people that he has assaulted don't get that second chance? And how will he learn if there's no punishment for what he's done?
Yeah, so two things in that respect. I think your question is one for society to answer, because at the same time that Losi Filipo was given discharge without conviction, there'll be a whole lot of other people this year who have been given a discharge without conviction.
And you're right, society did answer it today. There was complete outrage. They were planning marches, and yet Wellington Rugby still waited for you and the player to come to them to make a call. And it feels like they wait, and we've had this with other rugby incidents, where they wait till the pressure all gets too much, they want to bury their heads, and then they're forced to play their hand right at the last second.
So we've talked about the court process, and ultimately a decision was taken there, and it's not for me to judge it. I wasn't sitting there. I'm not full transparency in respect of the decision that was passed down. But then there's another process, which is the employment one. And as I understand it, what Wellington Rugby dealt with was a case where he's been discharged without conviction for an assault. They went through a process and they concluded the process. And then when it's come out publicly and the nature of what the assault involved, I'm not sure they had full transparency on that, because those records were withheld.
So you're saying that the rugby union wouldn't have known what he did?
I'm not sure that they did. You need to confirm that with them. But either way, they had concluded an employment process. So all of a sudden, they're actually in quite a difficult situation, because the court process is concluded, the player's been discharged without conviction, the employment process has been concluded, and they've effectively moved on. So you've got laws of double jeopardy, and that was part of the situation that was recognised by Losi today, saying, actually, I've got to make a call on this.
Himself, I still feel like the rugby union could step in there, because I'm pretty sure if I did what he did, 7 Sharp wouldn't want a bar of me. I'd be down the road.
And to be fair, Wellington Rugby were very good today. And I think...
Really? What did they do? Well, they commented after you made a decision.
No, well, I'm talking from our perspective. We engaged with them along with Losi and his representatives, and they were in a situation. And ultimately, I think we've got to the right outcome. And I know everyone will have their views on that. But ultimately, I think, for the victims, hopefully this allows them to move on with their lives, because that was a major discussion point today, and something that there wasn't a lot in Losi's control today, to be fair, but this was, and so this is what he felt he could offer.
So where is he at now? How is he doing today?
Yeah, it's tough. I think it doesn't take. He's 18 years old, physically mature and able to play rugby at the highest level, but this is a really tough situation. He's accessing a bit of support in that respect. I mean, you're talking about a kid who's had a pretty challenging upbringing. It hasn't been easy. He was lucky enough a few years ago to get in with some mentors, and they recognised that rugby potentially could be a way out from an alternate lifestyle, if you like. He made a massive mistake, and he basically got charged for it. He managed to be given a second chance, and then the way this has come about publicly, he's, I suppose, now put his hand up and saying, "Oh, okay, I recognise the situation. I'll suffer the consequences further, because that's the right thing to do." But that he's still very much aware that he's been given a second chance. And so, you know, his focus now is to work really, really hard